Welcome in. Today we are talking about another team we'd like to educate you on and inform you on, and that is Lokomotiv. Gillian Kemmerer, our KHL insider. My name is Ben Holden, and Gillian, it's reality for this franchise. They dealt with the worst sports tragedy in the history of sports globally. September 7th of 2011, the entire team went down in a plane crash. Over 40 people passed away. That's really, unfortunately, where we have to start, but there's a great rebound to what they've done since that 10 years now.
Well, I was going to say it's where we have to start, but it's not where we're going to end.
Right.
I always think about this scenario from the point of view of Yuri Yakovlev. He's the general manager of the team, played for Lokomotiv, watched everything he had built since he was a player decimated in seconds. It was, as Ben accurately said, one of the greatest tragedies we've seen in professional sports, but it ushered in a dawn of hope because as investment poured into Yaroslavl, they built one of the most state-of-the-art, sought-after hockey schools, and now they're known for creating a new generation of talent.
They are, and this was a team that in the 21 playoffs, in the Gagarin Cup playoffs, they lost in the semifinals in 7 to CSKA. So a team that has shown they can have consistency in play. All right, so let's talk about their coach, Igor Nikitin. What do we need to know about him? What's front and center with him, his team now with Lokomotiv, although last year he was in a different place?
He was with CSKA Moscow. So in 4 years, he went to 3 Gagarin Cup finals. He won 1. Widely was expected to repeat, except the pandemic put a halt on that postseason, but was on the opposite end of that Game 7 Loko-CSKA rivalry. It wound up being one of the more interesting series, even though it wasn't a conference final. He's a very systematic, tricky coach. He's on the younger end of the spectrum in terms of KHL coaches, but by far one of the most successful. He used to struggle in getting that team through the postseason, but then he found his groove. He really started to emphasize recovery. And now we're looking at a coach that appears to be able to take any team up the standings, as we've seen Lokomotiv climbing since the beginning of the season.
Well, let's talk about some of their top players. And we'll start up front for them. Reed Boucher, well-traveled guy, was part of the National Development Program here in Plymouth, Michigan in the USA. And he's had a really good career, and he is a key part of their team.
Well, I was going to say he's a good Michigan boy, Ben, just like yourself.
Yes.
And if you're watching Philippe Maillet this season in the KHL, then you can begin to understand what Reed Boucher's entrance looked like. He was absolutely pivotal for Avangard, essentially out of the starting gate. Then he was super important to Bob Hartley's Gagarin Cup run. But Reed Boucher has been an absolutely unbelievable player, super consistent, a point producer. He's been a lot of fun to watch.
He has. And when it comes to stopping the biscuit in net, you got to have a good guy in this league. And they have a veteran in Eddie Pasquale.
Best netminder of the year last year. He was super fundamental to that CSKA Lokomotiv Game 7. Now he's with Igor Nikitin, so they've joined forces, and Igor Nikitin will construct an incredibly strong defensive system around Pasquale. It's something he mentioned that he really appreciates about some of these Russian coaches, the way that they play defense. But one thing that I really like about him, he always sports a country music singer on either side of his mask, honors them, and very often he gets a phone call saying, hey, thanks, it's nice to see my face in a hockey game. I never thought I'd see that.
It's always cool to see what the goaltenders wear, and Pasquale certainly at the top of the list in the KHL in regard to that.